Okay, go ahead and shut down the música. And we shall go ahead and get started. So just for reference, right, this training is to help you guys, and it's what's helped me um, identify and also just finally accept my role within my company. And so that's what I wanted to bring to you guys today. Um, if you can see my screen, please let me know. Perfect. Okay, so welcome to the official training for the Women Helping Women Entrepreneur Group, although this will be shared on YouTube and for everybody else, because while I believe it is important to help women, I believe that it's also important to just help humanity. Helping humanity helps women, helping women helps humanity. And so this training is to help you shift your leadership that will absolutely transform your business. Our objective, again, is to just provide you with some practical objectives and strategies to help scale your business and lead with confidence. I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat your workbook link so that you guys can have that. So that's there now. We'll walk through the workbook in a couple of slides, and it's important for you guys to be able to take notes. Peter Drucker said the best way to predict the future is just simply to create it, because we are our own creators. A little bit about me, and what I do and how I help women. So I'm a leadership strategist, an operational expert, and a transformational coach dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs step into their full power, not just as business owners, but as visionary leaders who create sustainable and scalable success. I have over 20 years in operations leadership, development, and process optimization, and I specialize in helping people, mainly women, shift from running their business to leading a company. And there's a very big difference in running a business and leading a company. Even the words that we use, I have like a Sagittarius moon, and so words mean things to me. And so running is a little bit more exhausting than leading is, right? In the verbiage. Now, whether that's true or not in real life, that's a whole different story. So, why isn't hustling enough, right? If you are in your business and you're running your business from the inside and you never have a moment to step out and strategize, you basically have a job and not a business. Too often, people, not just women, but women entrepreneurs get stuck in the survival mode. We're wearing every hat, we're drowning in the day-to-day business, and we're struggling to scale because they have yet to build the leadership foundation that their business needs in order to thrive. And so that's where coaches and businesses like mine come in, right? Many women entrepreneurs are caught up in this hustle and they got to get it and they got to get it. When in reality, if you just become it, everything shifts and starts to come towards you. And so instead of trying to do it all yourself, you want to be able to branch out and I know, ask for help and seek people that can complement you, because hustling won't grow your business. It actually just keeps you stuck in this mentality that if I don't do it this way, then I won't X, Y, or Z. I won't make money. I won't be able to scale. I won't be able to. But it's a lie. It's what we've been programmed. And the hustle culture is coming to an end, but we're still very much in the middle of it. Where we still believe that we have to go get it. And there's some truth to that. I'm not saying that that you can just sit on your ass and nothing will happen and everything will happen for you. No, that's not true. You do have to take very intentional, actionable steps and action. However, it is not doing everything all the time for everyone, including, your business and. Um, and I want to preface it that this is not just a business thing. This is like, it probably resonates with you guys in a lot of other parts of your life, as it did with me, and still kind of does, right? There are some areas in my life where I'm running ragged and I need to like assess that constantly and just fine tune it. And that's all this is. It's just, we're going to take a couple of things from here and we're going to fine tune them, right? We're going to go from being a doer to a leader. And the moment that you shift from being a worker to being a leader is the moment that your business starts to transform and it starts to mirror back to you what you are, which is the boss, the CEO. You have to accept that. You have to accept that. So in your workbook, again, the link is in your chat. In your workbook, there are strategies, there's space. So there's an intro, there's space for notes that I would like you guys to use during the training. Section 1 through 5 is the actionable steps. The actual workbook starts on page 6, but I'd like you to do that after this training when you're feeling the energy from the training. And instead, during this time that we're together, just focus on using the space for notes to take notes. Each section after page 6 will require you to take action. And this is where the magic happens. This is the intentional action that I was just referring to. You have to take action. If you don't take action, you'll never shift your mindset and you'll never be able to start to do the things that you know you can, but your belief system is actually stopping you. So once you've gone through the entire workbook, I want you to implement one step, one small action, because those small actions lead to huge, huge results. You're going to revisit your vision statement and your goals every quarter. You're going to surround yourself with a community of high-level women entrepreneurs for support, likely the women that are in this training right now, but we're also in that Women Helping Women Facebook group. So if you're not in that, highly encourage you to get in that. If not, I have a school group called the Leadership Vault. You're more than welcome to come into my school group. It's currently free. It will go up in price. Well, there will be a price here shortly as I continue to add value. My goal was to build up the Leadership Vault and then put it behind a paywall. It won't be anything crazy. It'll be $15 or $20 a month to get these kinds of trainings exclusive to you guys. So we're going to talk about the CEOIS, which is CEOIS. What is the CEOIS? It's a shift. It's a critical shift, and it's a framework, right? And the first thing is that leadership starts with you. It can't start with anyone else. Your business can only grow as far as your mindset allows. So you need to step into the CEO and own it. Next, we're going to talk about building systems instead of chaos, right? A lot of our businesses could look like chaos, and we'll get into a little bit of more of why we create the chaos later on in the other slides. But building systems, not chaos. Systems work. Systems just move. Systems go with or without you, which is important, which is very important. In your workbook, you're going to take some massive action in this building systems thing. And it's probably going to be, if you're not an operational, background like I am, it may be the most scariest part for you, but I encourage you to push through, reach out if you have any questions, we can walk through it together. Because if your business solely depends on you, it's not scalable. Even if you are a solo entrepreneur, building systems is the key to freeing yourself and growing sustainably. Our third piece of the framework is that leadership is about people. This is where you're going to learn that you don't have to do it all yourself. You can, when you're ready, build a strong team that allows you to focus on bigger picture things, right? That's what we want you to do. It reminds me of The Office, where Michael and Jim become co-managers and Michael's in charge of big picture things. The fourth thing we're going to do is master business in like a corporate influence, right? And so we're going to want to build that personal brand and network strategically and pitch confidently. And all of those sound very scary. I know it sounded scary for me. I was like, what is a personal brand? The only kind of brands I know are Nike, Adidas, Louis Vuitton, etc. However, you have a personal brand. When people think about you, they think about something. When people think about you, they think about something. We're going to learn how to network strategically. There's so many ways to network right now. And I want you guys to step into one or two of them. And then we're going to also learn how to pitch. And pitch is just, I help people X, Y, Z. That's all in your workbook. And then the last thing we're going to do is shift from reactive to proactive leadership. Proactive leadership is not waiting for something to happen to do something. It is thinking of something that may happen and proactively taking steps to counteract it or to be able to hold it when it does happen. And this is sort of creating that vision and then taking action to get into it. And so that's what proactivity is. I was just thinking it through. So the first thing is clarity, right? We're going to step into our CEO mindset. The C is the foundation. And unfortunately for all of us, you can't skip it, right? Your mindset and belief systems act as your vessel. Your vessel is what can hold things. If your mindset and your belief systems are limited, your vessel is limited. You have, and you have you have created anything that you can within this vessel, within this current vessel that you're in, within your mind and your body. You've created all that you can. If you could have created more, you would have. God, the universe, you are asking for more. And it's not necessarily that more in quantity, but maybe more in quality. And therefore, you need to expand your current vessel. You need to think differently. It's that saying of what got you here won't get you there, right? So how do we do that? First, we're going to own our role as the leader of our business, not just the hardest worker. I, like some others, didn't feel comfortable calling myself like the founder or the CEO because it came with responsibility and it came with maybe some pressure, some accountability of, behind it. But the truth is that it's just that we don't feel worthy of that title because we think that that title means something that's bigger than us. We are the CEO. We seem to think that we're only worthy of becoming a CEO if we've built a large company or if we make millions or billions. But the truth is that if you're not the CEO, then who is? The truth is, if you're not the business owner, if you are the business owner, you are in fact the CEO, the founder, whatever high name executive title you want to give yourself, you are that. We are actually the CEO of our lives. The CEO is a chief executive officer. It's the highest ranking person in a company or other institution. Ultimately, the person responsible for making decisions. And that, my friend, is you, and that is also me. So right now, I want you to take 3 deep breaths and call yourself out loud the CEO of your company. I am the CEO of Leadership from the Heart. I am the CEO of Leadership from the Heart. I am the CEO of Leadership from the Heart. Now that we've accepted the CEO title of our lives and company, we can allow ourselves to shift from survival mode to strategic decision maker. Here is where you're going to insert your logical thinking and your superpower, your intuition. Intuition will sound different for a lot of different people. It comes in all different types of forms. The most noticeable one for me, and what I like to recommend that people start with, is this reminder intuition. This is where you say something like, I really don't want to forget, or I really want to remember to take the dry cleaning tomorrow with me when I leave the house. And then tomorrow comes and you're doing something, you're likely in the middle of something, and boom, a voice comes up and it says, hey, don't forget, you wanted to take the dry cleaning when you left the house today. And you say, yeah, I'll remember to do that later, instead of stopping right there and going and putting the dry cleaning in an area, maybe on the door hook or wherever it is that you need to put it so that you won't forget. A lot of us take that little voice and we say, yeah, I'll do it later. I'm in the middle of something right now. And then we leave the house and we forget the dry cleaning. And the truth is that the reminder came, right? Your highest self, your intuition, your whatever you want to call it, came and reminded you, but you ignored it. And we ignore this little voice a lot. And what I found is the more and more I started to listen to that voice, and even if I was in the middle of something, I will stop what I'm doing and I will go do that thing because I recognize that the only way it's going to get louder is if I listen to it. And so I've been doing this for about 6 years now. And I still, I still have moments of, remembrance, or the, hey, you looked at that thing, you should, maybe take that with you today. And I'm like, no, there's logically, I don't need that headset today, or I don't need my AirPods today. And I'll leave the house, and sure enough, here come a moment where AirPods would have been really nice to have right now. And it's like, yeah, remember when I told you to take the AirPods and you didn't believe that we would need it? I knew the future self would need it, yet you ignored it. And so still learning, a lot of learning. This voice is you. This voice is your highest self. This voice knows and sees the future. And it's up to us to listen to it. So um besides that, our strategic decision making, the second part of the CEO mindset, is looking at all possible options and mapping out the one that'll serve you the most, um, either now or serve you the most later, right? Most people live in the serve me right now mode because we love instant gratification. And it could end up burning you out or burning up a lot of money, for later is and like an opportunity cost, right? I know that right now this will not serve its highest purpose, but my 3-year plan says that it will. And so I'm going to strategically make this decision right now, delay instant gratification to get that thing that I want 3 years from now. Both are good. Sometimes you need the right now and I'll pay the piper later, or sometimes you need the I'll pay the piper now for the later gratification. Both are really, really good to use when appropriate. And that's the key, when appropriate, right? The next is we're going to build confidence in your ability to lead and scale and influence. Confidence is built through experience, guys. This is the only way you're going to build confidence is through experience and affirmative talk, of course. But you have to give yourself the permission to gain experience. Experience also means mistakes, you know. I want to help you look at mistakes a little differently. You have to say out loud that mistakes are great because it's just data. Now I know when I make a mistake, now I know what not to do. I know what to tweak. I know what to I know what to that, right? It's not just, oh, I made a mistake, throw the bath out with the baby, throw the baby out with the bathwater, and to hell with everything. No, get back in the ring, right? You got punched, get back in the ring, and now you know that you need to maybe bob or weave next time. And that's okay. It's just data. It's just data. And if you can learn to look at your mistakes as just data, you will shift your perspective. A thought came to me about, think about when you teach your children, if you have children, what a mistake will look like. And if you don't have children, I don't have children yet, but if you don't have children, think of any child that you would want to talk to that made a mistake, and how would you encourage them? That's kind of how I want you to start talking to yourself. The actionable steps in your workbook will be creating a 1, 3, and 5-year vision statement for your business. You'll identify some limiting beliefs. And remember that your business can only grow as far as your mindset allows. You need to step into the CEO mindset role and own it. E is for efficiency. I love efficiencies, right? Create a scalable business model. Business and systems over chaos. So we're going to move from chaos into systems by optimizing workflows and automating processes. I'm an efficiency expert. I have an MBA. I have a Lean Six Sigma black belt. And I'm constantly looking for ways to be more efficient, not only in business, but in my day-to-day activities. And what I found is that a lot of people create chaos. A lot of my clients that I step into, they create chaos unknowingly, but also so they can solve the problem and become the hero. It's like a hero syndrome. And again, people don't know that they're doing this. And they get so used to firefighting that it becomes their everyday life. And what they don't understand is you have exactly what you want, right? So if you don't want to firefight every day, Then start putting systems in place that allow you to not firefight every day. And these are the smallest things that I can look at knowing, from an efficiency standpoint, that could be chaotic, right? It's something as small as putting, let's say you have 5 tasks to do, and you're putting them in order of 3, 5, 4, 2, 1. Something as simple as putting it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that nobody ever has to question you or interrupt you or no, would tell them this is the highest priority, this is the lowest priority. If you're coming to assist me, please take what's the highest priority. Something as simple as that, that you don't even have to explain. You don't have to waste your time explaining to someone what you want them to take. They just know based on the numbers or the way it's set up, this is what I'm supposed to take. I can walk away, I can go deal with it, right? Um, there are so many automations in today's world that there's no real reason for people to do manual workflows. There are exceptions to this because the human touch is unreplaceable. Things like writing birthday cards or writing thank you notes or writing notes or writing thank you cards is what I'm trying to say. Um, but I want you to start thinking of what can't be done if I don't do it and start to make a list of that, just so you can become aware of what your belief is and what only you can do, right? Then we're going to focus on reducing bottlenecks. That's the second part of this framework for E. And you'll find that when you try to reduce bottlenecks, you're not going to do it completely because you can't really eliminate bottlenecks completely. You need the bottleneck, right? But bottlenecks keep you trapped in like day-to-day task. A bottleneck is the part of the process that slows everything down. I want you to envision a Coca-Cola bottle, and the smallest part of the bottle is the neck, right? And it's to control the amount that's dispensed. And that's on purpose, right? Not all bottlenecks can be removed. If your Coca-Cola bottle did not have the bottleneck and it was the size of a regular bottle, when you went to go drink it, everything would fall on your face, right? So the bottleneck is important from time to time. However, what we do find when we're, consulting for people is that a lot of people don't know where their bottlenecks are, or they have multiple bottlenecks. When we can kind of fine tune where the bottleneck is, either eliminate or essentially just reduce the amount that it reduces of workflow coming through. So look at what in your business takes the longest to do and doesn't allow you to move forward until it's complete. Think of process, right? Very simple example. Actually, I'm not going to get into the weeds with it, but yes, bottlenecks. If you have questions about the bottlenecks, please reach out and I'll be glad to further explain it and give you kind of like some practical things that we can look at to help you reduce that. Again, we're not looking to eliminate it. This is probably a good time to like write down all the bottlenecks of the process, or all the bottlenecks that you identify in your process. The third is what we're going to learn to delegate effectively. And we're going to focus on high impact leadership tasks instead. Delegating is the act of giving another person responsibilities for a task. I know this may be a little scary for some of you, but if your plate is full, you cannot possibly put anything else on your plate without burning out, let alone having the time to visualize anything other than the day-to-day instead of high impact decisions that will allow your business to grow. In your workbook, you're going to go through the actionable steps, which is identifying three business processes. You'll focus on scaling business systems. You'll highlight what can be automated, because if your business solely depends on you, it's not scalable. And building systems is the key to freeing yourself and growing sustainably. Next, we have the O. Leadership is all about people. If you have a team, which is even if you have one person like a VA, we're going to shift from micromanaging to empowering the team or the person to take ownership. Empowering your team to take ownerships and making decisions. Empowerment is giving them the power and relinquishing yours, right? Scary, I know. We all go through it. One funny story for me that I had to realize years ago was I was okay with delegating as long as they did it my way, which is also not delegating, right? The truth is that you can create the system, you can create the spreadsheet, you can create the process, and when you give it away, you have to allow them to innovate. You have to allow them to make it theirs. You have to give up the control and allow for it to become something even more beautiful, right? And that's a lot of ego deaths that have to happen there, right? Make it more beautiful, meaning, I didn't make it as beautiful as it could be. Innovate, meaning there are things that I didn't think of, and giving it away to someone that's my baby, right? Why would I want to give this spreadsheet or this report away to someone? This is mine. You have to be able to allow yourself to surrender to that. And yes, it will be painful. You will have anxiety. You'll have all the things, and you won't die. You'll be okay, right? And so micromanaging is insecurity in action. So anytime you feel like micromanaging, just realize I'm insecure. I can be okay. I won't die, right? But did you die? That's the question. But did you die? Right? The second part of this is we're going to learn the art of delegation, which is a very simple framework. You're going to identify what you want to delegate. You're going to identify who you want to give it to. You're going to write down before you talk to them what the expectations are. This report needs to be delivered on Mondays at 3 p.m. with this result every single time, right? Those are the expectations. Next, you're going to talk about the support that they need from you, right? What support do you need? Do you need a check-in the Friday before to make sure it's okay? Do you need this X, Y, or Z software so that you can have it? The biggest question to ask yourself is, what did I need to be able to do this report successfully? Whatever the task is. I say report just because we all know what reports are, but what did I need to do this report successfully? The fifth piece is check-ins, right? How often do you want to check in? If this report is due weekly, maybe you check in with them weekly. If this report is due monthly, maybe you check in every 3 weeks. The goal is to give something away and not micromanage. Micromanaging looks like checking on it every day. Hey, where you at with that? Hey, where you at with that? Hey, where you at with that? For that, you do it yourself, right? Because nobody wants to be micromanaged. That's a lack of trust. And the last thing is feedback. What could have we done? What could have been better? What did you learn? And what's working, right? So what's working, what's not working, and what could we change? Those are the 3 questions you want to identify and work through with that person in the feedback session. The last thing is, when you're ready, you're going to hire strategically to support your business and free up your time. If hiring someone does not free up your time, eventually, in the beginning, it may not, eventually, then you did not hire correctly, right? You're going to hire for strengths that complement yours. Hiring someone, a lot of people say that you're going to hire a VA because, the admin task, that's a waste of your time, blah, blah, blah. And I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But like in my business, I didn't need to hire a VA. I needed to hire a salesperson because I didn't know how to sell, right? And there's a lot of background behind that, and it didn't work out for various reasons. But, hiring a VA, if your most daunting task are the admin work, right? Or hire a salesperson if you need to bring in more. You know what you need. Um, just understand that hiring anybody is going to be scary, but there are ways to protect you and your business. You're going to go slow, you're going to hire slow, and you're going to fire fast. Both of those things sound very scary. Hiring and firing, a lot of butterflies, a lot of, uncomfortability, but you are the CEO of your business, meaning you make decisions for what's best for you, your family, your life. And if you put that at the forefront of everything, nothing will feel as scary as it did. Just saying that out loud makes me feel a little less scary than hiring and firing someone, right? The actionable steps in your workbook will be, what can I do versus what can I delegate? And then you're going to develop some job roles and performance expectations for your next hire. Influence, become the master of business and corporate influence. Building a powerful personal brand attracts bigger opportunities. So you're going to define who you are, what you do, who you serve in one very strong sentence. This is in your workbook. So your brand should reflect your values, your impact, and your unique voice. The unique voice part, guys, is probably the most important piece of all of this. You sound different than anybody else. Accept it, own it, be proud of it. This is why people will come to you. Your people will come to you because of your unique voice, right? We can't sound like everybody else out there. Everybody else out there isn't you. There's only one you, right? So then we want to network with decision makers and land very large Corporate contracts, who cares? We just want to make partnerships, right? We know that if when we make big contracts or big partnerships, our business, it can take one person to help you become a millionaire. And if we can think about it this way, then we will talk to everyone as if not to get from them, right? But I can bring value. I can bring $1 million of value to your business. We're going to talk about that a little later on, where we talk about, knowing our value. Um, Make it about the solution that they need, not just your offer, right? That sounds very grabby, very needy, right? We have to talk to people about them. We have to talk to people about the solutions. We can do this, and networking, of course, we want to attend industry events. We want to be able to speak on panels, position yourself as their peer, not a vendor. You want to frame your service as an ROI-driven strategic investment, not just a one-time spend. That's what I'm talking about knowing your value. You want to use language that connects business outcomes, right? I help businesses with improving or reducing retention. I help businesses increase productivity. I help business innovate. I help businesses grow. Those are the types of languages. Those are the types of things that you want to say to people. Last, you want to position yourself as an authority in your industry. You can do this by hosting your own podcast. I have my own podcast. You can host a workshop. You can write articles. You can post mini trainings. You have to be able to create knowledge trails that show depth, give away value for free. And you can even be on a guest on a podcast. I know I host a lot of guests on my podcast. There are endless amounts of Facebook groups and other groups that you can get into and become a guest on somebody else's podcast, just to be able to say out loud the things that you do and what you offer people. The more you say it, the more you'll believe it. The goal is not to be everywhere all the time. You can try as many things as you want out, but use one or two that energize you. You just need to show up with clarity, consistency, and confidence in the places that matter the most to your audience and buyers. In your workbook, you're going to craft a 60-second pitch. There's a whole outline there for you. And then you're going to set a goal to attend at least one speaking engagement, a podcast, or be on a panel within the next 90 days. And last is the S, the shift from reactive to proactive leadership. And this is the business side of things. So again, we're going to stop firefighting. We're going to create long-term plans for sustainable growth. Remember, day-to-day chaos is what you've created, which means that you can uncreate it, right? Firefighting is unsustainable. So we're going to focus on, revenue generating activities instead of low value tasks. The Pareto chart is the Pareto principle is an 80-20 principle, which states that roughly 80% of outcomes come from 20% of causes. So some general examples of that is 20% of a plant contains 80% of the fruit. 80% of a company's profits come from 20% of its customers. 20% of players result in 80% of points scored. And as you try to envision this, you'll start to see the 80-20 actually is a real life thing. 80% of your problems come from 20% of your people if you have a team. This is a real known thing. It's principle, right? And so in your workbook, you're going to identify 20% of the things that are driving 80% of your business successes, and you're going to double down on those, right? Some of that is setting KPIs and keeping track of them. KPIs are key performance indicators, right? And so what they do is they help you drive progress. So remember, key performance indicators, right? So ask yourself, what does success look like in my area of business? If you're in marketing, it may be the number of leads that you generate per month. If your client delivery, client satisfaction score or completion rate. If you have a team, it could be the number of employees who are retained or the task completion accuracy. From there, now that you know what the goal is, now that you know what success looks like, you're going to create really smart goals, which is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So this is very important because you don't want to just say get more clients, right? You want to say something like close 3 clients per month at $3,000 per offer. That's what you want to say. That's very specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's time bound, right? So that's a SMART goal. That's an example of a SMART goal. Third step is you want to set a baseline. Before you can start tracking where you want to go, you need to know where you're starting from. So an example of that is, create an average monthly revenue of $7,500. The goal is $10,000 within 90 days. So I'm starting at 75. I want to get to 10,000 within 90 days. You need a baseline. You need to know where you currently are before you can know where you're going. And then you want to use something simple to track it. Google Sheets, Excel, whatever floats your boat. And you want to kind of put some headers in there and just attack what you want to see and where you currently are. You have to be able to measure. Measuring your goals is very important. It's almost like saying, I want to lose 30 pounds and never stepping on a scale. I'm not a scale person myself. However, I do see the value in every once in a while, seeing where you're at, if it's pounds that you want to lose, understanding that muscle and weight weighs more, blah, 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 blah. But understanding that you do have to measure. If you don't measure, you may be going in the wrong direction. And although you feel it in your pants, you don't know it in your mind. So measuring is very important. And the fifth step is to review and adjust monthly. And this is something that you'll do in your workbook as well. It'll task you to review what worked, what missed the mark, what needs to shift, then you want to upgrade your goals and your systems accordingly. KPIs are very important in business. Also, another thing that's very businessy. So if you're not on the businessy side of things, I get it, but it's something that you absolutely need to do for yourself. Leadership is not just about one thing. It's about creating harmony across all these areas to lead with confidence and scale with intention. All of these things are necessary in order to create the beautiful balance of what it takes to lead a business, right? So it's a little bit of hustle with a little bit of leadership. Let me say that differently. A little bit of hustle with a lot of leadership equals transformation, right? It starts with your mindset, that it moves to systems, that it moves to people, influence, and then strategy. The world needs more women leaders, and I feel that we all feel that, right? Your business deserves a leader who is confident, clear, and focused. Your team deserves a leader who is inspired and empowered, and you deserve to thrive as a CEO that you are meant to be. So let's make it happen, right? Simon Sinek talks about how, he believes that women um, make better CEOs, right? Because they understand the human dynamic. They understand people in general, and they know that the world is a better place when we trust and we love and we take care of people. And if it's good for the world, then it's good for business. Here are some success stories of past clients. And if you are open or you want to talk through things, if you need advice, this is not a sales pitch. This is not a, I need you to come work with me, but I genuinely want to help your business thrive. I love operations. I love processes. I love strategy. So if you need help, please book a session with me. Let's talk through it. Let's see what I can help you with. Let's make one piece of your business more efficient that will create the momentum to create efficiencies throughout your entire business, right? And I want you to think about one thing, which is, what is it costing you right now to not develop your business and your leadership? Thank you so much for your time. And now we shall open it up to Q&A.